Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to a strategy and sort of role-playing type story game called We the Revolution. It's a game that puts you in the shoes of a fictional French judge during the French Revolution. You deal with a lot of historical incidents and individuals who are historical characters, but with a very fictionalized plot and some sensationalism. This is our second episode back. We last played this game quite a while ago. I don't think we've played it since August of 2019 on the channel, but it had been a while and I still have my original save from the campaign, so I did decide to go ahead back in and, we'll play through this and post it on the channel slowly. I posted my first video back of this a couple of days ago. This might be a little bit more of an infrequent episode or show until we conclude the game, but we're about 2/3 through the game. At least I assume we are. We're toward the end of Act 2. I'm assuming there's 3 acts in this, just like a play. But in our last episode, we discovered that the villain behind murdering our younger son was in fact our brother, our older brother, who we thought was dead. And apparently he has some sort of vendetta against our family because we turned our back on him. I don't fully understand that. It's been a while since I played the original. But I only vaguely remember a couple of passing remarks about my brother in the game earlier. So this all feels a little bit out of left field. We played a game of dice, which felt a little bit rigged and was a little bit frustrating because I played it twice, actually. I save scummed it once and played it twice. And both times I played it, the rolls were so slanted and uneven that it definitely felt a little bit rigged. With that being said, our brother is apparently marching on Paris with an army of victims of the revolution, some sort of counter-revolutionary army. I don't think they're strictly speaking aristocrats, but victims of the terror, in an effort to overthrow yours truly, who has now become sort of the de facto leader in Paris now that we've overthrown Robespierre. We did acquit him a couple of episodes ago, but he fled the city, and so we are sort of the head of the French Revolution at the moment. And we're preparing for our brother's armies to arrive in the city. And that's the situation as it is right now. That's enough of me rambling. This was taken from a live stream on my Twitch channel from a couple of days ago. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I'll turn it over to the live stream and we'll get right back into it. The last 2 minutes or so of footage that you've been seeing here is a little bit of a recap of the end of the last episode. I just sort of backed the stream up a bit that I'm talking over. But as soon as this ends, we'll be right back into where we left off. I think we'll skip any of those actions right now, and we'll just see what happens. All right, so we're moving into day 16 of Act 2. If this is a 3-act play, I don't know what's still coming. There's no jury. What's so important to bring you here, Marat? Is it really so important that we cannot discuss this at my house? I'd rather do it here surrounded by other people, as I'm afraid I would not leave your house alive. What? I'm in possession of anonymously written documents that describes your actions since you became judge of the tribunal. Betrayals, murders, political bribery. Are you still human, or am I talking to the devil? This is all Clement Renard's doing. That man has already destroyed my father. A few days ago, he threatened to do the same to me if I would not be obedient to him. Whatever's written in there is not true. Those lies are only supposed to destroy. Do not make a fool of me today. Renard was found dead at the back of the Café Pricapi. I know that I will dig into this until I know every one of your wrongdoings, every murder, deceit, and betrayal. I can assure you that there's no need. Okay. We actually already had a trial of Robespierre. We acquitted him, but then he fled Paris. Admiral Akbar. So let's take a look here. Bad relations with my wife and my son. Good relations with my father. Yeah, well, my son just had both his hands chopped off, so there is that. Our aristocratic endorsements +5, +1, +3, -2. Medium, high, low, so we need to appease the revolutionaries. Reputation is low, -8. So what are the minor cases here? Remember, revolutionaries, that's what we need to focus on. So this guy's a revolutionary. I'm not even going to read the story. I'm just going to quit him. This guy is a common folk. His wife, Siva, was found to be robbing inns and cellars on a regular basis. They also assaulted several people in the street. They were caught laden with stolen wine. And they jumped out of a winery right into the arms of the guard patrol. Yeah, that deserves to be killed. Revolutionaries will be happy about that, but you can see the common folk opinions going down. The butcher Garrett Carpenter was found to have been adding horse meat to his sausages and cooked meats. He would buy it at low cost from local farmers. Then no reports of food poisoning, but it'll only be a matter of time until we hear some. Yep, we're going to kill you too. Julian Laird was seen beating 3 children who were playing cards in the street. The accused claims that they were playing war. That's another murder for you, or another death for you. While the staff were preparing for battle, General Pierre visited his mistress's tent. It's worth mentioning that they were caught in the middle of sexual intercourse and were surrounded by delicates so rare during wartime that even officers do not have access to them. That's another death penalty. Paul Gustav was forcing their younger sister to... Oh, come on. I don't want to acquit this one, but I have to not make the revolutionaries hate me so much. Or the aristocrats. What happens if I kill them? Okay, well, they're not yet to the murder point. So the revolutionaries should be moderately happy with us. The common folk very happy with us. The aristocrats not very much at all. So we just completely reversed various opinions of us. It's like one day they love us, the next day they hate me. So minus 17 for the aristocrats, but plus 7 for the revolutionaries, and 11 for the revolutionaries, plus 2 for the common folk. Yeah, Admiral Akbar, the game isn't strictly speaking historical. It's based on elements of the French Revolution, but it's very much a not French Revolution story. Neighbors discovered the body of your mentor, Raymond. He was found hanging in the living room of the apartment. They testified that Devilliers had left before dawn when he must have left the letter on your desk, then returned home and committed suicide. The neighbors heard him crying, loud sobs that stopped abruptly. His room was a mess. There were many half-full glasses of wine and empty bottles, with witnesses saying that he had been drinking a lot lately. Raymond Devilliers, the person who introduced you to a world of law and books and clauses, your mentor and friend, was involved in Friedrich's death, and now a different judge shall evaluate his life. So that hurts a lot of people's opinion of me. My reputation is going down the toilet. Hopefully it didn't make the aristocrats hate me enough to kill me. The judge's true face. Okay. So now my father's going to start hating me. My brother and my wife, or my son and my wife, already hate me to the max. The irony is his attempt is to make my father hate me. I don't think he really cares that much about my wife or my son. God damn it. My brother's army will arrive in 3 days. Let's see here. They're irritated. I can't afford to perform this action. All right, arresting this man was simply a misunderstanding. They're attached. This man you arrested is working for me. Imprisoning him is a crime against the revolution. So we got 2 of the 4 correct. That's not going to be enough to persuade them. What is this? Why is it going down? Oh, shoot. Okay, so that worked for us. Manipulation on that count. The man you arrested is working for me. That also worked. Aggression will definitely work. We already know that. And so will carelessness. All right, so they let him go. That's good. So we're able to convince the revolutionary patrols to let our individual go. Is this district rioting? Is that? All right, so let me see here. Well, the monument's already... All right, so why don't you quell the riots? Because it's rioting in this district. Can't move him, and I already moved this guy, so... I control 7 districts, so that's good. I don't know if I like have to quell all the districts before my brother arrives. I'm not really sure what the requirement is there. Banjax 1205, good to see you. Same for you, Newhauser. Several minor cases to deal with. Good to know. All right, so we have medium relations. Oh, I think it's... I can't... It doesn't actually tell me. All right, so we need to appease the aristocrats. This guy's a revolutionary, so we'll let him go. Also revolutionary, so we'll let him go. The owner of a brothel in the center of Paris has been regularly tracking clients to an anonymous informant. Dupont was using special sandglasses to measure time. Men were spending with her prostitutes. Sandglass did not measure time correctly. All right, we'll execute him. All right, so I'm trying to buy back a little bit of goodwill from the aristocrats. Ooh, letting that... I'm not even reading all of these. All right, so it looks like we got the revolutionaries to the middle of the road. Same for the common folk. The aristocrats like us a little bit less, but we should still be safe from execution. So slightly better opinion, I think. Overall, I think it works out. Banjax, I usually stream anywhere starting between 9:30 and 10:30, and usually for 2 hours-ish. In terms of days of the week, it's whatever I'm up to, really. All right, so that's over. Uh-oh. Citizen Fidel, they found another body. I know who it is. Who is it? Citizen Marat was found dead? All right, so obviously my brother's behind all of this to try and frame me. So the individual who came to me with the accusations is now dead, apparently.
Marat had it coming. A crazy Girondin got to him.
I'm not sure if he paid for his sins. Or my own.
Get him out.
Even from beyond the grave, Marat can deal substantial damage. The night before his death, he was able to typist the last issue of his paper, focusing on your most recent misdeeds. He claimed that you were responsible for Gobel's death, and that you, not Gobel's son, was called a master of crime. The paper also described how you overthrew Robespierre, only to gain absolute power in France. There is no need to tell you what else is written. You know the truth. Good God. -2, -1, -1, -8. -4. Yep, that's me, the power-hungry monster. I killed and buried the revolution. That's just great. The Judge's True Face Part 2. Okay, so my dad's opinion goes down a little bit more. It's still a positive influence on the people, though, because it's high enough. And my wife and son hate me more, but apparently I don't really care because they hate me so much already. They can't hate me more, right? All right, so we just calmed the riots in this district. Who the hell's that? My brother's army will arrive in 2 days. All right, so we're going to move this guy here. District fully upgraded. There are no riots. I was hoping I could try and take out the Mookadans. Maybe not. All right, let's see if we can win some more districts. We'll see. Day 18. This seems to be moving a little bit quickly here as we move toward the battle. I'm guessing the amount of city that's in my control and my reputation will influence how many soldiers come into my banners. All right, so my family wants to acquit this person. So do the aristocrats. Meanwhile, the revolutionaries and common folk want to execute them. Who is this person? You will... Whoa! Please introduce yourself. My name is Charlotte Corday. You've been accused of murdering Citizen Marat. Yes, I did it. We rarely see people so willing to confess to crimes here. I have a bad feeling I have to acquit her, because if we go back and we look at reputations here, if I don't acquit her, the aristocrat's opinion of me will go down. Also, my family will like me way less. If we acquit them, the aristocrats will absolutely love me, but the other folks will hate me. But if I kill her, well, no, the aristocrats won't yet be all the way to the bottom, I don't think. So I think we could give her a death penalty. But let's see what the story is. The defendant is Charlotte Corday, residing in Cannes. She openly declares her sympathy for the gendarmes, the woman murdered Jean-Paul Marat. She was detained at the scene of the crime and confessed immediately. According to our information, the woman displays an intense dislike of the Jacobins and anybody who contributed to the fall of the gendarmes. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. She arranged a meeting with Marat under the pretext of turning in a group of her comrades, who had supposedly planned an uprising in Cannes. Marat's servants remained vigilant and initially did not let the woman near Jean-Paul. But allegedly, the host reprimanded them and told them to let the supposed informer in. The man was sitting in his bath. As rumor had it, he suffered from skin diseases that was eased by long baths. It seems he suspected nothing, as we found none of the deceased's weapons near the bathtub. After a short conversation, Corday thrust a knife between his ribs. Marat cried for help, but had little chance of surviving after being so badly wounded. When the servants ran in, Corday was standing at the window looking out as though she were examining the landscape. She offered no resistance during her arrest, but tightly gripped a copy of Plutarch's Parallel Lives. I do not know if it is any good. Have not read it. On the way to her cell, she repeated many times that she had been acting on her own and was particularly keen on emphasizing that there was no man behind her act. The guards probably did not fully believe her as she began to shout in the corridor that she was a virgin, yet who would want to copulate with a lunatic like her? Marat is dead. Okay. So she has sympathy for the gendarmes, turning in a group of her comrades, thrust a knife between his ribs, and acting on her own. Those are the questions. There's one trap, and there are 6 questions to reveal. So, a supporter of the gendarmes. That would be motive, I believe, right? Yep. Stabbed with a knife. I believe that would be method. No? I guess it's evidence? No? Course of events? Okay, glad to know I just used up 2 of my incorrect questions. I still have 4 more questions to answer. What does that have to do with the personality? And I don't think stabbed with a knife is motive. Denouncing of friends. Is that method? Yeah, okay. That's good to know. We can get one more incorrect question before we lose out. So we've unlocked half the questions. Stabbed with a knife. Also, apparently that last question leaves us only motive for stabbed with a knife. So that's another question unlocked. What were the other ones here? Whisper. What was that again? The whispering one? Well, we've already gotten all those. Knife we did. So it's the bath. So acting alone. Is that the evidence? No. Guess that means it has to be method. So all but one of the questions has been answered. There are 2 things left that we can do. We can either say Plutarch's book or we can say the bath. Plutarch's book could be evidence. Yeah, it is. All right, so we have unlocked all of the questions. What do we want to do again? We want to kill her? Acquittal has me safe. Death penalty has me dangerously close to death. Banjax, I'd have to see if I have a copy of Liberty or Death. So acquittal will most definitely not have me get murdered, but the revolutionaries and the common folks will really dislike me. The one thing that worries me about the death penalty is that the aristocrats will be so close to killing me that if there's any other random event, they might kill me. But I think in the coming battle, I really need the support of the revolutionaries and the common folk. Although, again, It'll also hurt my relationship with my family. I don't know if that means my dad as well. That would be bad. But let's proceed. There was no companions. There was no uprising. I knew the vision of a big conspiracy would convince Marat to meet with me. She's one. You came from Khan. The journey passed quickly as I was focused on the purpose of and the pleasure of imagining Marat and his bleeding creatures as a bleeding creature. Beautiful outfit for the guillotine, not for Marat. You're acting as if you want to die. Such is the price of freedom and equality. I at least agree with Marat on one point. The change that is necessary for France must be introduced by force. I added my unswerving strength of will to that end. Okay. There's really only one question that I can ask that will make them slightly more willing to appeal. Yes. Yes. A knife. She was working alone. I think that's what, but let's go ahead and ask more questions then. Why were you so hateful of Marat? He was a symbol of evil at the smothering my country. Is that why you stayed there after committing the crime? I'm not ashamed. I do not have to run. I have killed one man to save 100,000, and I will receive death as my reward. It's a lie. They were planned. Your issue's verdict probably had a hand in the whole thing. The judge here was involved in a dispute with Minister Roland. All of a sudden, the gendarmes were accused of treason. It is not hard to figure out that Judge Fidel must have had something to do with it. Enough of these aspersions. All right, so that does make people wish to acquit her slightly, at least the jury. But now there's 4 more questions that I can ask here to get her in line for being executed. Yeah, you wonder why Napoleon had such an easy time taking over this mess. You know, a little bit, although it wasn't quite as smooth as it looks. All right, let's just do it. We'll see if this makes the aristocrats hate me too much that they will kill me. We can always save scum. The important thing in my mind is that, yes, we get a big reputation hit from the aristocrats, but the revolutionaries and the common folk especially will have such a high opinion of me that I think it'll overcome the negatives, as long as I don't get murdered by the aristocrats. Plus, I'm assuming the aristocrats are in the army that's coming to fight me, and I want to make sure I've got the revolutionary and common folks' support behind me. 6 out of 6 questions answered correctly. +2 influence, +2 reputation. You find a large-sized uniform on a hook. Only one employee is big enough to fit in it. Your favorite court guard, Raphael Clovis. A letter found in the inner pocket proves which side Clovis has chosen. Your brother's. He will fight against you to save himself. Or maybe he's just tired of your actions. To know for sure, you must get to him. The worst thing is that he knows your weaknesses. Okay, so my favorite guard has turned tail and run. Jerk. Traitor!
Terror is nothing but swift justice. Robespierre used to say that. And now an army of outcasts marches towards us to present their interpretation of those words.
Do you come to arrest me?
I came to tell you that certain people believe everything you did for the benefit of France.
Who are you?
Officer Thomas Alexandre Dumas from the French army, at your service.
Do you believe in what those few say about me?
Most deputies of the convention fled once they learned of the approaching army. The reinforcements that will be able to save us will take a dozen or so days to reach Paris.
Do you believe I did everything because of France?
No. But as far as I heard, you know the enemy better than any one of us.
I don't have a dozen days for the reinforcements to
As
arrive.
a commander, I certainly appreciate that asset. And as a human being, I know that brotherhood is especially important when someone is fallen. You reached the bottom, but there are people willing to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
I think you're talking to the wrong person.
I am talking to a predator. I am talking to a person who is not averse to killing other citizens. And that is what awaits us. We will have to ruthlessly murder Frenchmen who stand on the other side of the barricades. I am talking to a murderer, because that is how you are known to those who are afraid of you. As ghastly as it sounds, you are exactly who we need.
You said yourself that reinforcements are a dozen or more days away.
That is why I gathered an army of loyal people. I will entrust them to you under one condition.
Did you say an army?
Look for yourself. A truly revolutionary army. The poor and the wealthy, white and black people, all marching side by side. They came here to protect Paris.
You mentioned one condition.
Make me a general. The first black commander of that high rank in the whole of France.
I do not have such power.
But you do. You still hold the power of the guillotine, remember? Support me, and the army will be yours. Regardless of their origin or race, those people believe that if they are scared of you, our enemy should be even more terrified.
Hand me a piece of paper and a pen, General.
Okay. This story really feels like it's going off the rails. Side note, why does that guy have a Texas accent? Or something like that. Certainly sounds like it. Whoa. Recruitment. The number of units given to you depends on your reputation. My reputation sucks. So we get 15 levy en masse, 7 infantry, 7 city guard, 5 musketeers, 3 artillery. Starting battles, the whole of Paris is fighting. The political salon will be transformed into headquarters, and the hideout will be transformed into a help center. The printing house will stop operating. My brother's army will arrive tomorrow. The garrison generates reinforcements every turn. The higher your reputation, the more troops will join you. My reputation's not very high right now. People are trying to avoid the enemy's cruelty in every section of Paris. Protect them for as long as possible. Your reputation depends on it. Toggle the view of refugees remaining in the districts and on and off. Okay. Civilians in this section, this section, this section. So this section has the most people. What's this? A physician? Okay. I don't know. Hamish, I enjoyed the game originally. I'm not sure how I feel about it at this stage. It gets a little bit convoluted, and I think it tries to do a little bit too much. So, all right, so 89,000 people here. The second most populous is this section. Is it 12 for every district? Yeah, it looks like it. So I'm not sure if I should be like garrisoning the whole city. Or wait, this garrison. Like, I don't know if there's a strategy. That's, I guess, the confusing part to me. Behind what you garrison where. So the most populous districts are these 4 here. I don't really love the idea of sending like one artillery unit by itself there. I also think this section is probably safer. So we'll only send... We'll leave 5 back here. We'll put 7 here. And again, I don't know like how I'm supposed to mix my troops up. I'm not really sure how that all works, Carl. You might be right. The center might be protected because there's no access to it. Like the top, but I don't know. All right, let's just see what happens. I'm not really sure. I may have to save scum this. What are the threatened sections? Is it just this section down here? Are the red sections the threatened sections? I'm really not clear on this. Okay. All right, so it looks like the red sections must be the threatened sections. I'm assuming this little, like, whatever this is, blood vessel looking like thing represents that this section down here is the first one to be attacked, actually. So the garrison here is full, but I'd actually rather get better troops in here. So we'll have 5 musketeers, 5 city guard, 2 artillery. I wonder if city guard is better than infantry. I don't really know. Because frankly, I'd rather go with infantry over city guard. I think they will be better. Of course, I might be using up all my best troops right away, which is not ideal either. So we'll see what happens here. Act 3. Well, I was right. Now we're into Act 3. I guess we have to hold out for 12 days until reinforcements can arrive. We'll see if we can do that. I've botched everything else. Today we only have several minor cases to deal with. Okay, so let's... Rat plague. What? Paris is overrun with rats that are spreading an unpleasant skin disease. People are angry. Okay. All right, so we have to make the aristocrats like us a little bit more. Very high opinion with the common folk and medium with the revolutionaries. My reputation is -14, so that's going to hurt recruitment very badly. 4 aristocrat, +4 for aristocrat endorsement? Really? From what? -1 influence, +2 reputation, +3 common folk. -1 revolutionaries. So I need to increase the revolutionaries, but I also need to manage the aristocrats. So let's see what the cases are. Wishing to get a promotion in the ordnance foundry, Abraham Toten told the supervisors that his foreman had been sentenced to the guillotine for murder. The information concerned turned out to be false. Murder him. This guy's an aristocrat, so we'll acquit him. Okay. So I at least got the aristocrat opinion of me up slightly. You can see here that we've got just below medium on the revolutionaries. Still have very high for the common folk. The aristocrats is something better than it was. And now what? Who am I guillotining now? Speak to the common folk. Revolution bullheaded, so I'm assuming that means aggression. They're attached, which I'm assuming means maybe either humility or carelessness. So carelessness looks like it's a perfect argument, so I'm assuming in both these cases carelessness will be good. And then, all right, aggression is probably good also. So we're going to go careless, careless, aggression, and see what happens. I don't remember, is this the... Quick, the Reaper would like to have a word with the convict about this terrible crime. Today we have a convict who, as they all say, is innocent. You have gained power in France. Now spill the blood of those who oppose the Republic. All right. -1 reputation because I didn't have 3 perfect arguments? Really? Make it quick. Off with a head! All right, well, let's see what happens in the battle starting tomorrow. Alexis, your brother paid me a visit, the one who is supposed to be dead. Let me finish. I always knew your true nature. I watched you trying to gain more... Oh, yes, of course. My brother has just miraculously turned you against me, too. Because all that it takes is a madman with one arm showing up and everyone will turn on you real fast. He wants true equality and fraternity. It is nothing worse than what you have done to the people who stood in your way. I am sorry, my friend, but our friendship must end. Where do you draw the line? Removing Robespierre was going too far. We have spilled too much blood. I acquitted Robespierre! He fled! So is this another one of those games where your opinions really don't matter? Well, everybody's leaving you, just, I guess, because. Dinner with officers. A warm and home-cooked meal under a real roof would do most dependable officers a lot of good. Your wife has always been an excellent cook. Will she actually help? When he was younger, Bernard would often sneak out and explore Paris streets. Perhaps his knowledge could help you in saving refugee lives. Furniture, rubble, barrels, everything can be used to build barricades. Let's provide protection for our troops and block off the strategic points. Provisions and medicine. Those who choose cannot just idly watch soldiers fight. They need to contribute whatever they have left. Safe path, I think. Apparently my father doesn't like that strategy. Neither does my son or my wife. Hey, Brock. Glad you're enjoying the content. I hope I get picked right for the first turn of the battle.
They are already here.
I can't flee the city, they gone.
Ones. That is how they call themselves. The families of the victims of the revolution. The sons of those who were forced to run to other countries. They have groped their way in the dark for years, and there was no one who would console them. Now they want France for themselves. As we do.
Okay. I wish I remembered like how to fight, because it's been a while since I fought a battle. So we did not get very much recruitment. We got 2 more levée en masse, 2 infantry, 1 city guard, and 1 musketeer. Again, that's because our reputation is so low. Enemy attack. You've been attacked. If you have no troops in the section, you'll automatically lose. Well, I do have troops down here, so we're going to fight down there. Meanwhile, I think, assuming the assault comes here, they're going to be able to drive north or east So we'll want to protect. Garrison's full here. I need more artillery is what I need. Put levy en masse here. City guard here. Infantry here. And musketeers here. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and wrap this episode up. Hope you're enjoying the series. Please let me know your thoughts below. Paris is ready for war, and we await our brothers' armies and see how things will play out in our next episode. Until our next episode, however, this is The Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you for continuing to watch and support the channel. If you want to participate in these, you can definitely check out my Twitch channel. The link's in the description. But until next time, this is The Historical Gamer saying once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm out.